Thanks, everyone. It was great to hear the ladies we've just heard from, because they have these physical product businesses. Now, I come from a very different business model. I'm actually a fiction author. Amazon best-selling fiction author, action-adventure thrillers, a completely different business model, obviously. I'm also an entrepreneur. So I sell e-courses online. So I don't have any physical product. I have physical books, but they sell through print on demand, which I'll be explaining. So what's great about these events is that we can hear about all these different business models, and you can think about how yours fits, because physical products are great, but having a digital product is actually a lot easier to get into, and the margins can be very high. So I'm going to be talking about that today. Okay, so why get into multimedia? Now, I also say I'm one of those content speakers, so I'm going to give you lots of tools and actionable tips for your business, and not just some inspiration. It's going to be all about how you can expand your business today. So why look at multimedia anyway? Well, one is that people have different learning modes. So obviously today you're having visuals, you're having audio, you're also seeing. But online, sometimes things can just be text. So maybe you have a blog, but maybe that blog is just articles. So thinking about multimedia can mean that you touch people in different ways and different ways of learning. Content marketing, hopefully you all know the sort of principles around content marketing. But essentially, in order to become an expert, to stand out online, to get attention for your business, putting out great content is a really good way to go. So doing multimedia types of content also helps you stand out more. Depending on what industry you're in, some industries really have very little in terms of video, audio, and really quite inventive stuff. Certainly as a fiction author, authors are pretty terrible at doing this. The other thing is that you can charge a higher price for multimedia products than you can for purely text products, for example. So we're going to talk about books, but books, you can't charge that higher price for. There is a market price for books, for print books and for ebooks. But for courses, online courses, for example, you can charge really whatever you like, whatever your market will take. So I'll be talking about how I do that. Okay, so which of these do you do? I'm going to go quite fast today, but I don't want you to be going, oh goodness, I have to do all of those things. You don't, but it's really looking at what do you do now in your business and how could you expand in 2012. So the theme of today is about thriving, and thriving is also about growing and about looking at how we can grow. We're still in the first quarter, just about, so we've got the rest of the year. So what are some of the things you could do to make your business thrive using multimedia this year? So I want you really, my challenge for you is to choose one of the things I'm going to be talking about and take some action. And because I've got so many tools and websites, I've put these slides up on a page on my site, thecreativepenn.com/thrive, where you can download the slides so you don't have to be taking notes of all the websites that I'm giving you, because I know there are lots of them. But it's very exciting. I hope you can tell. I should have said at the beginning. I should have said, as of last October, I was an IT consultant, with Accenture and all those type of companies. And now I actually make my full-time living as an author entrepreneur, primarily through selling digital products. So this is actually my business model that we're talking about. Okay, so number one, creating a print book using print on demand to sell globally. And of course, Lotwina was lovely there. She was on my course the other week. And we've got a whole load of people in the room creating books at this very moment. But obviously, print books are something that many people want to do. Who has a print book already in the room? Okay. Maybe a third. That's excellent. So all of you know it's about brand awareness, especially for your business, having a book for your business. It's about authority. It's about brand awareness. A lot of people give them away when they speak, which is, an excellent way, or you can sell them as part of your business at the back of the room. But what I guess I'm excited about is the print-on-demand model, which means you can sell globally. So it's great to have your books that you sell live in person, but what's exciting about Amazon these days is you can use print-on-demand technology to sell globally. Okay, so what is print-on-demand, if anyone doesn't know? Basically, you get these, you get your interior file, you get your cover file, you upload them to one of these sites. These are the best sites to use. CreateSpace is probably the number one I would recommend. You upload your files, and then when somebody orders the book on Amazon.com, and this literally will, the actual uploading process is free. Obviously, formatting your files and everything is a different matter. No time to go into that today. But print on demand, you load your files, a customer orders the book is printed, and it is sent to the customer. So essentially, you have no stock, you don't have to do postage and packaging, you do make less money per book, but your physical book is in the hands of a customer globally. So you can be on all the Amazon stores, you can be Barnes & Noble, you can be in, and basically any bookstore can order your book when you go through this process. So print on demand is sort of one of these life-changing things where you realise you don't need to pay 20 grand up front to get your books printed. Very exciting. And even if you have got books printed, you can also use this process to get your book out there to the world. So that's pretty exciting. I'm even more excited about eBooks. Okay, who has a Kindle? Wow, that's probably 75% of people who have a Kindle. My books are on the Kindle, if you like kick-ass thrillers. This diagram, Jeff Bezos did this presentation last year. That orange line is Kindle ebook growth. It's the hockey stick. Print book growth is the yellow one, and Kindle growth is the orange one, which has now overtaken print and paperback and hardback sales. What's very exciting about ebook publishing is you need even lower cost of entry. Really, you need a professional editor, you need a professional cover designer, but then your book can basically go out for sale globally on the Kindle store. And you guys probably know that it's open to a lot of countries right now. They're opening up in Brazil. India is the one I'm very excited about because there's so many English-speaking people there. So the growth and sort of global expansion of the Kindle is amazing. And that obviously not just that, there's Nook and Kobo, which you can get through smashwords.com. So I publish my books through the KDP, which gets me on the Kindle, and then Smashwords for Nook, Kobo, Sony Reader, all the rest. Okay, it's a very high profit margin. So I can price my novels, and novels and non-fiction, different kind of price, but my novels can sell for $2.99, and I make $2.04 per book, okay? So, I mean, it's pretty amazing, and that's one of the reasons I've been able to move into this full time. Very easy to use tools as well. It really is a sort of, once you have your formatted file for the Kindle, once you have your cover, you really upload them. You obviously need to know a lot about marketing, but, you know, we'll talk about that another time. But also you reach people who only shop in stores like Amazon. Because let's face it, we all have great websites, or, you know, we're planning great websites. But a lot of readers are not coming to your website. A lot of people are shopping on Amazon. And those of you who have a Kindle, that's probably what you do. Okay, you can also download samples. So obviously some of the people in the audience who've written books, I've downloaded samples of your books, and, you know, you can find out about people that way. But you can reach people who are only in stores and then put in your book your business story, your website, your list gathering mechanism. And in that way, you can basically get a whole load of new people globally. Very exciting, right? Okay, but I guess the point is, if you're going to want to reach people globally, you have to have a kind of business model that allows for global interest. Because if you only do stuff in person, one-to-one coaching, for example, is there really any point in getting people in America interested in your business? Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the different ways you can use multimedia in order to create products. Right, so I'm going to talk at the end about how I've created multimedia business products, but how I got started was getting into video and audio first. Because essentially, who already has a YouTube channel? Let's have a look. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe 50%, that's excellent. Okay, who has a successful YouTube channel? Laura's a speaker, so that's excellent. Okay, so when I say successful, look, who knows what that means? I got into YouTube, in order to get on there, but also because video search is increasing, and again, you can meet a different market through video than you can just for plain text, and it kind of brings your site to life. And it's not just the about video, it's about, doing a 3-minute chat on, different things like Lotwina just did. You could break that down into a couple of videos. people want to know, like, and trust you, or that's our aim anyway, is to get people to know us and like us and trust us, and then they're far more likely to be interested in our business or our book. So from my facial expressions and my hand movements, you can tell a lot more about me than you can from an article that I've written online, because that doesn't really convey humanity in a way. Here you can see my face and my eyes, and on video it's the same thing, and it is very, very powerful video. It's surprising that people will come up to you and say, I feel like I know you, because they've watched your video. And that human connection is actually critical in our businesses in terms of standing out. Also, video search is increasing. Now, I don't think this is to be underestimated. YouTube, I don't know if you know, it's owned by Google, and they've just kind of expanded it. I personally don't have a TV, but I watch TV online, and I've just started watching YouTube TV. They actually have, like, Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall's River Cottage on YouTube as a TV programme. So people are spending more time on sites like YouTube and not just watching lolcats, for example. So people are learning to watch longer form videos, and in fact most of my videos are Skype conversations that I do with other authors and other book marketers. So you can, and the other thing Google's doing is voice recognition technology, where they're looking at basically, going through your words and using them for search engine optimization. So this is still new, and it's happening on some channels and not all of them. But what it will mean is that, I have probably hundreds of hours worth of interviews with me talking about books and writing and, book publishing and book marketing. Over time, that will come up in Google. So, and videos do really well on search engine. Okay, peer connection. One of the really powerful things that we have when you do multimedia is the ability to help other people do multimedia. Because again, I meet a lot of authors who wouldn't go near video. So when I offer to invite them on my video channel and put them on my blog as a video interview, they're like, oh wow, I haven't done one of those. And this is still, probably not the same in all industries. But if you interview someone on video and put that video online, they will also be really quite grateful to you, and that helps you with your own incoming links. They will probably promote it. So that's really good. And a couple of things here. I wanted to basically say to you as well that the barriers to technology have basically gone. You don't have a technology excuse anymore not to do this type of stuff. So you can see here I have a flip cam, which is like £70 or something. I use Skype, which of course is free. I use eCam recorder, or you can use Pamela for the PC, eCams for the Mac. They're, £20, £25, nothing. They record conversations. I use my webcam, and I use ScreenFlow for the Mac. So basically the technology is not the point. The thing that's going to stop you is your own kind of fear of doing this type of stuff. And that just, I think, really comes with time. Like speaking, you have to get into it in order to become more confident. So, no one really cares what we look like. You just have to put on a brave face. Okay, so that's video. And I got into video really, a couple of years ago. My early videos are shocking, but actually it doesn't really matter if you're standing here talking to a flip cam saying, here I'm going to New York in July, get to Thriller Fest. Very exciting for me. I'm going to be there with Lee Child. You bet you I'm going to be there with my camera going, I'm here in New York with Lee Child. There he is over there. If I put that on YouTube, my audience will enjoy that because they're like, ooh, fangirly over him. So doing things like this, it brings personality and interest to your very professional site. And when I started, I think I made that mistake of being very formal about everything. And actually, it's human connection that sells a lot of the time. Okay, how am I doing? Good. Right. Before I did video, I actually did podcasting because I was scared about video, as naturally many of us are. I didn't want to put my face on video. So I did podcasting, and really, who has a podcast? Okay, fewer people than video, which is quite interesting to me because it is quite hard to start a podcast, but all I do with my video is I take the recording that I've just done on my video, so like a half an hour interview, which I do every week. I then turn that into an MP3, put on a beginning and an end, and put it out on iTunes as a podcast. So that's pretty exciting. So I've got 3,500 subscribers to my podcast. But what is very interesting about podcasting is they listen to my voice for 30 to 45 minutes every week. So they have a real connection with me. And the emails I get from people who are my podcast audience are like a step, really into everything, and they listen to everything. And, I listen to podcasts, and I feel that way about podcasters as well. But it's not hard either. So you have your MP3, whether you record that, yourself or it's you tape an interview. And again, I use the same tools, as I said. Then you can use a free piece of software, Audacity, which you can just use to edit it. I use Blueberry, which is a site which can also do hosting for you. So Blueberry with a double R-Y, no E. And then they can give you a feed to put onto iTunes. The other interesting thing about my podcast is it almost has a completely different audience to my blog. So, and I know that too because I'm a podcast listener. I don't go to the blogs of the people I listen to podcasts of. So the audience I have audio is different to the audience I have on my site, which is very powerful. For example, I have 15% of my podcast audience is in China. And when I look at the stats for my blog, I have 2% from China, for example. So that's really interesting. Again, the peer connection is really great. And yeah, I think it's very exciting. iTunes is a really good platform to reach, again, completely different people than you might have reached through your own site because people are on iTunes searching for information. Okay, so the other reason I want to bring up these things, it's interesting not many people doing audio, because what you can then do once you master these types of skills is it gives you the confidence to create multimedia products which can bring you income. So, one of the things that many people go into business for is to help people. We all, generally like to help people. Yes, we'd like to make some money along the way, but we would like to help. Creating multimedia products means you can help more people and globally, and you don't have to repeat the same information over and over again in person. As I said earlier, you can also charge higher prices, and they're higher margins. And the most exciting thing, which is why this is my chosen business model, is it's scalable. So the other week I created a product which was 21 ways to sell more fiction online, okay? And I sent that out to my list. We have a list like we do on our website, and I made quite a lot of cash from one email. It sells at $21. It's a 90-minute webinar. So if you guys, a webinar is, you have like this, but on the internet, it's me talking over a PowerPoint presentation. So I recorded that. I did that live. We charged for it live, and it was global. And I do all my pricing in US dollars, by the way. My market is mainly American. Then I essentially recorded that. I turned it into a product which took me all of about 10 minutes because I know how to do editing. I use Amazon S3 for hosting. Put it all up there, put on a sales page and sent it out there. And that sells pretty much every day at the moment because, of course, 21 ways to sell more fiction online is something quite attractive to my audience. But what that means is I've done it once. It will sell. It will keep selling. So Scalable is, I don't believe in this passive income, but Scalable is kind of the aim, where you put the effort in once and you can sell, whether you sell it once or 10,000 or 100,000 times, doesn't really matter. The same with fiction. That's why I like fiction. So my business model is 80% scalable product, 20% in-person product, like here, I'm here in person and it's not repeatable, whereas 80% of it is scalable. And that means the income can grow. Maybe one day I'll hit 130 million in, whatever Wendy said in fiction sales. That would be nice. But essentially, my business model is quite different. Okay, so I wanted to tell you an example, like a working example of how you could do this. So this is one of my products. So I have products in between $20, $39.99 is a kind of middle price. I have a cheap audience. Authors are cheap, right? They don't spend lots of money. This is a $99 product, which is How to Write a Novel, which I wrote with a lady called Ros Morris, who's written 11 novels, a lot of bestsellers. And essentially, we did 3 webinars, which we recorded. So we sold the live event again. Then we recorded it. So I have the 3 videos of 90 minutes each, and then turn that into MP3 so people can also do that. Again, this takes very little time once you're confident with the tools. Then I got it transcribed, and I'm sure you know, you just hire a transcriber to create the material. And then the slide packs that we had used for the webinar. So I wanted to tell you about the tools that you could use and how you can see how the profit margin is for this. So the original webinars, that was the most expensive thing, was $99 a month for GoToMeeting /webinar. Very, very good service, but expensive to do every month unless you're doing a lot of sales webinars, which I don't. But we did that for a month, so that was $99. Recorded it, as I said, with Ecamm, and then edited it in ScreenFlow. So that was the first step. Then basically that recording I host on Amazon S3 cloud server. It's really important to have good hosting if you're going to sell a digital product, because what you don't want is a whole load of support issues. So I'm very happy to say I have very few support issues. Most people are really happy with buying stuff and looking at stuff online. So people can watch the video online. They press play on a player on the screen. This is all just hosted on my own site under a password protected page. And my hosting is around £7 a month with HostGator. I have a shopping cart, which is only £7 a month, 10 US, e-junkie.com. I really highly recommend it if you sell digital products, because it is the cheapest and incredibly reliable shopping cart. And then, of course, there's PayPal fees, which we all have to do. But you can essentially see how cheap that product was to create. And yet, it has a lot of value for people who are looking for that kind of product. And because I can use those multimedia tools to create it, I can sell that for 99 US. Whereas if I had a book on how to write a novel, which of course is in the works, but I can't sell that for very much, so I focus on these, is essentially that people will pay more because it's multimedia. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. All right, so is that exciting to anyone? Yeah. Good, I'm glad. I mean, to me, this did transform my life, so I'm kind of like, you know. It is, and of course, it's the most exciting thing is the make money while you sleep aspect of PayPal, which is, or make money whilst watching a movie, which my husband particularly likes. So it is an exciting business model that pretty much anyone can use if you think a little bit outside of the box. So many of you, for example, I know many people are coaches in this organisation. If you even think about, you know, the top 10 questions that your clients ask you, and then record that, you know, you chatting about it, do a PowerPoint presentation, record it, package it up, sell it, try it. You know, it's just worth a try because you never know what might happen. Okay, so this is, you know, the exciting thing is try and think multimedia. So when you're thinking about thriving in 2012, looking at how, in the ways you can expand your business globally, think about some of these multimedia options. Now, you will have to learn something. But this is the thing, I think it's really worth investing in a little bit of time and really a tiny amount of money to learn some of these tools. So for example, the investment in me learning ScreenFlow for the Mac, the video editing software, was really, you know, I had to do it, but once I did it, it has transformed my business. So I really encourage you to do that. So you can boost your income, but you can also boost your influence because you can stand out in a market where a lot of people only do flat text. Okay, thank you very much.